Number seven, the master of the pause. You get an email that makes your blood boil. Your first instinct is to fire back a furious reply listing every single reason they're wrong. But you don't. You close the draft, stand up, and walk away for a few minutes. This small gap between feeling an emotion and acting on it isn't weakness. It's a superpower and a sign of emotional intelligence. Instead of being a puppet to your impulses, you hit the mental pause button. This gives your rational brain time to catch up with your emotional brain. Experts in self management call this regulating your emotions. You feel the anger, the frustration, or the panic in its full intensity, but you don't let it hijack your behavior. You're aligning your actions with your long term goals instead of seeking short term satisfaction that leads to regret. It's the difference between reacting and responding. Number six, the emotional sommelier. Someone asks how you are, and instead of just saying good or bad, you say, I'm feeling a little apprehensive, or I'm feeling more nostalgic than sad. This isn't about using fancy words, it's about having a rich emotional vocabulary. Research shows that only about 36% of people can accurately identify their emotions as they're happening. Most of us operate with a very basic emotional palette, but emotionally intelligent people can distinguish between subtle shades of feeling. They know the difference between feeling annoyed and feeling disrespected, or between feeling content and feeling truly joyful. When you can accurately name an emotion, you understand its cause and what you need to do about it. It's like a doctor diagnosing a specific illness instead of just saying, you are sick. Labeling your feelings precisely tames them, giving you control and making it easier to communicate what you're experiencing to others. Number five, the feedback sponge. Your boss points out a flaw in your latest project. For many, this feels like a personal attack, triggering defensiveness. But you listen, nod, and ask questions to understand more. You see criticism not as an insult, but as data. This ability to absorb feedback is a hallmark of high emotional intelligence. You've separated your identity from your work. You understand that a critique of your project isn't a critique of your worth as a person. Instead of letting your ego build a wall, you view feedback as a shortcut to growth. You recognize that other people's perspectives can reveal blind spots you'd never see on your own. This doesn't mean you blindly accept every piece of criticism. It means you have the self confidence to evaluate it objectively, extract the useful parts, and discard the rest without getting your feelings hurt. You treat feedback as a gift, even when it's poorly wrapped. Number four, the curiosity compass. You're in a conversation with someone new, and instead of just waiting for your turn to share your own story, you find yourself genuinely curious about theirs. You ask questions like, what was the most challenging part of that for you? Not just to be polite, but because you truly want to understand their experience. This habit is a direct expression of empathy, a core component of high emotional intelligence. Your curiosity acts as a compass, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of another person's world. People high in emotional intelligence are often driven by this desire to see things from other perspectives. They know that listening is more than just staying silent, it's an active process of discovery. This genuine interest makes others feel seen and valued, forming the bedrock of strong connections. It's a clear sign your emotional intelligence is compelling you to build bridges, not just exchange information. Number three, the gentle fence builder. You have a friend who constantly drains your energy or a coworker who keeps pushing extra work onto your plate. Instead of resenting them or exploding in anger, you calmly and kindly say no. You might say, "My plate is full and I can't help with that project right now." Or, "I'd love to see you, but I need an evening to myself to recharge." Setting boundaries isn't about being mean or selfish. It's about protecting your own emotional and mental energy. And this ability to set firm boundaries is a masterclass in high emotional intelligence. It requires a blend of self awareness to know your own limits, self management to resist the pressure of people pleasing, and relationship management to communicate your needs without damaging the connection. Emotionally intelligent people understand that burnout and resentment are the enemies of healthy relationships and productivity. They aren't afraid of disappointing others in the short term to maintain their well being in the long term. They know that protecting their own energy isn't selfish. It's essential for being able to show up fully for the people they care about. This isn't about building walls to keep people out, it's about building a fence with a gate, and you decide who and what you let in, ensuring you have the energy to show up as your best self. Because at its core, a healthy boundary isn't a rejection of others. It's an invitation to a more authentic and sustainable connection. It signals to those around you that you value yourself, which in turn teaches them how to value you. Number two, the self talk strategist. You make a mistake at work, and that little voice in your head immediately pipes up, "You're such a failure." But instead of letting that thought take root, you challenge it and counter it with, "Well, that didn't work out as planned." What can I learn from this? This habit of consciously managing your inner dialogue isn't just about positive thinking, it's a clear sign of high emotional intelligence. It's the practice of cognitive reframing and quashing negative self talk. People with high emotionally intelligent treat themselves with the same compassion they'd offer a friend. They recognize that thoughts are not facts. They can observe their negative self talk without believing it. They act as a strategist, reframing destructive self criticism into constructive self coaching. This isn't about toxic positivity or ignoring problems. It's about being someone who can acknowledge a setback without letting it destroy their confidence or motivation. Number one, the grudge dropper. Someone wronged you in the past, and the memory still stings, but you've made a conscious decision not to let that bitterness consume you. This isn't just a sign of emotional maturity, it is the sophisticated art of forgiving without forgetting. Emotionally intelligent people understand that holding onto a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. They recognize that the real victim is the one carrying the bitterness, burdened by stress and anger. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give to someone else, it's a tool for self preservation. It's about releasing the emotional weight so they can move forward and recognizing that your inner peace is worth more than being right. But this doesn't mean they become a doormat. Forgetting would be naive. An emotionally intelligent person releases the anger, but they hold on to the lessons, using it to be more cautious and to protect their well being in the future. They drop the grudge to free their own emotional energy, but they keep the wisdom to avoid getting hurt in the same way again. This habit is an act of radical self care where you refuse to let someone else's past actions dictate your present peace. It is a massive sign of high emotional intelligence because it proves you are the master of your own emotional state. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to see more.